you can't always go on intuition. I use logic a lot at work. But I think a good mix of it. So I got a good feeling from him, and he answered all my questions, and I tried to really dig down quickly. And so I got off the call with the seller, and I knew that for me, the time was of a high value just because of work. I'm stretched at work and stretched at home.
Mm,
And so to go another month or two without having a site to me was worth something. And
mm.
so I was willing to pay a little bit more on the front end, because I'm looking for a long-term hold anyways.
That's
So
perfect.
I went ahead and offered a full price offer. So I was able to secure the site about 10 minutes after I got off the call with the seller. And
Excellent.
I've been
Excellent.
really happy. Yeah.
Yeah, congrats, man. And that's something that I talk about is that, we don't want to start really low and then meet in the middle. It's just an ugly thing. You burn relationships and you don't become an attractive buyer, especially when the main thing here is like you just build a good relationship with the seller now. And he's obviously going to be able to backwards and forwards get a few more emails than the regular 3 hours that you get when you buy a site, right? And so
Yeah.
it's also the relationship that you've built with Empire. You bought from Empire Flippers,
Correct.
built with them because now they're like, okay, this person's serious. He's got money. He wants to buy things. They're always, and we're always dealing with people here that want to buy businesses and sites that don't have pre-approvals for loans or don't have money or don't know how to do it. And I want to come back to what you said about the intuition thing, because a lot of people may not know what you're talking about, right? But in our lessons, we talk about using your gut instinct, but also using logic as well, right? So you need to make sure it makes sense logically, but then you can come back and use, your second brain. You've got neurological tissues in your gut as well. So I'm glad you played on both ends, especially with your regular skill that you use at work, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm a software engineer. And so it's like logic, hardcore logic all day long. Um, which is fine because I enjoy it. But in this case, yeah, you definitely, if you get a bad feeling, and you can't always find out why with the numbers, and you're thinking, man, I should make this work. Like if you're going down that path, I would say take a step back and just pause. And my whole thing was I didn't want to let the opportunity slip through my fingers, but I
Mm,
also wasn't going to be in a rush. And so I know sometimes on these marketplaces, people put in full price cash offers within 30 minutes of it going in the marketplace. And so my whole going in proposition was I'm not going to be rushed, and I'm not going to feel pressure, and I'm not going to have fear of loss. Like if a deal comes and goes, then that's fine. It wasn't the one for me. And so I'm not going to try to force this to work. And so the whole way through was a very easy process. And even though I was there was some urgency, I was still prepared enough to go ahead and make the offer when the time came.
yeah, well done, man. So you've got your job that you're working now, and you got your two babies, and you've
Yep.
got this business now, and it's going to take a little bit of time to run. How many hours per week? And also, well, you don't have to tell everybody what it actually is, but what niche are you in? And I also want to mention that you choose something that we teach here at Bob is that to always go evergreen, not the fad
Mhm.
gimmicky thing that you said. So well
Yep.
done on that. And yeah, what's the niche? How many hours sort of you going to be spending on
Yeah.
this per week?
Yeah. It's in kind of lifestyle niche or outdoors niche,
Yeah.
which is pretty broad. So there's some articles on there, and I guess where it's more niche down. And so I want to focus on that more. And what was the second question? How many
How
hours?
many hours? Yeah, like roughly.
So yeah, so listed was about 2 hours a week. And so I'm big on outsourcing. I learned like years ago how to delegate and outsource. So I really love doing that kind of stuff. And so I'm looking forward to understanding the process and then immediately passing it off to someone. I already have people on Upwork writing articles for me,
Great.
because yeah, I wanted to get started. And I guess something that somebody told me a long time ago was to put a dollar value on your time, because you think, oh, it's just half an hour there, an hour here. Well, like if you take how much you're making it work or how much you want to make,
Mm,
right? And let's say you want to make $100 an hour or something, or 250, then every hour you spend on that, if you can pay someone less, then you should probably do it. as long as you yourself can do the task well enough to explain it to someone else. And so I really don't like writing. It's always been sort of a weak one. I can write emails and stuff, but I don't like content. That's my wife. She's actually published a book and she's really good at writing.
It's
I
kind of funny
can,
you bought a content site though.
I know. So that was the, that was the thing. I was like, oh, content. Like I can edit. This is something else I can bring up, but I can edit really well and I can tweak really well. And so I knew that if I had the content site and I already had a pattern to go off of, I can reverse engineer a lot. And that's what I do a lot at work
Mm,
is I'm really killer at like reverse engineering things and making it better. And so, yeah, a little bit ironic about the content site, but hey, if you can find someone that
that's
writes
great.
really well, and I work on the analytical side about, see, conversion rate optimization and all the nerdy stuff. I really wasn't worried about that, even though the business model hinges upon content. There are a
Yeah.
lot of people that can write content much better than I can. So my high value is not in writing the content itself.
Yeah. And I want to bring this up and I want to highlight it because there's so many people that are worried about what type of business model they should buy and what's going to be best for them. But if you look at what Todd's done and what I've done with other businesses I bought for myself, is Todd's gone and bought a business that he already knows his skills and what he can add to that. And that's what he's excited about in the editing and the CRO and all that sort of stuff. But he bought a content site and he doesn't love writing content, but he knows that he can leverage other people to do so. Like worst case scenario, maybe he can get his partner to write a couple of things while he hasn't got VAs, or rehiring VAs because the first batch may not be the best, right? And this is something we traditionally know when we're hiring.